go. So my name is David Melman, and I am the co-founder and CEO of MadeClose, which in its simplest form is a platform for locally and responsibly manufactured goods. We started MadeClose, my co-founders and I, because we thought that we were part of an underserved group of consumers who cared a little bit more about their products, where they were coming from, the impact they were having, but were having a very difficult time finding those products. It was very hard to find information. It was time consuming. Data quality was not very good, and we wanted to have a place where we could go to find these great products. Similarly, we found on the other side of the equation, people were having the same problems. These heritage brand, third and fourth generation manufacturers, people who had taken passion projects to real businesses, and independent boutiques that were supporting these kinds of merchants were having problems reaching their target audience. So you had two groups of people that wanted to interact and interface but had no way to do it. So MadeClose, in its initial form, was that central localized place where people could go and interact very easily. I'm not going to go into the statistics here, but we're emboldened every day by the fact that statistics come out that this movement of local and responsible manufacturing is gaining traction, it's gaining speed. There's a tremendous impact on local economies, on the economy of the United States in general, on job creation, and all sorts of other things. So it's something that we are very passionate about, and we're seeing transform literally every single day in the market in front of us. A little bit about how we work and how we think about MadeClose. We look at MadeClose as four pillars, and they have a circular sort of relationship where each one helps fuel the next one and is also fueled by the one before it. So starting with content, our goal is to be the content and thought leader in the conscious consumerism space. And that comes in the forms of e-magazines, maps for shopping, community guides about places that care about local. And we've amassed over 2,500 local companies across the United States. We then whittle that down, and we have our curated e-commerce marketplace bringing you the best of the best for locally and responsibly made goods. And we recently started development of two other areas, our B2B, helping these merchants source materials from other like-minded merchants and stuff like that, virtual trade shows for these independent boutiques and stuff like that. And lastly, using the relationships that we have with these merchants, developing large national product placement and national media exposure things that will drive exposure to these merchants and also to MadeClose, which will help drive, obviously, traffic back to the website. A few real quick images of our product. You see the Long Island, that's a community guide. On the left are maps for shopping, and on the right a product page, and then a mobile rendering. And then lastly, just to touch on again, the real goal of MadeClose is to build a community and to be a leader in the space. And we're doing that in a number of ways. First and foremost, we've reached out and worked with companies like Echo Cult and Ethical Writers Company that are entrenched in this market and have these proactive users today. And we're using them to leverage and get their users and become a trusted source. We've gone national. We've been selected as featured curators for Good Morning America's Deals segment, for Oprah Magazine's O List, the Skim, and other things to help bring these great businesses to the forefront and get them the national exposure that they need and deserve. And lastly, but not least, on the bottom right, we are in development. Actually, never thought this would happen with MadeClose, but in development with a major network to do a television show going around the country, telling the stories of these third and fourth generation woodworkers, glass blowers, etc., having them collaborate with like-minded people and create new products on TV for sale on MadeClose, which would obviously be great exposure for us, but also really to get the story out about these amazing people and the jobs that they do. So that's MadeClose. I hope I'm under 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Rob Blackham, SecurityScorecard. I'm CTO. Here to talk to you about cybersecurity and risk. Now I'm serious. I got the thing upside down. There we go. All right, so this is a story about Chris. This thing working? Hello. This is a story about Chris, the CISO, Chief Security Officer. Chris does a lot of things. What does he do? He secures his network, does breach response, and to me, the most important thing, he does vendor management. He does a great job, awesome job of securing his own castle. Nobody can get in. He's using all the latest technologies, using the best stuff. Nobody's going to break into his perimeter. He even does penetration tests on his own stuff, making sure he's good. But then he starts thinking, wait a minute, if we're installing some new software, that means I'm going to have to do it again. So I don't even know if I'm going to be secure in another week. And then he starts thinking also, wait a minute, my data is not just in my castle, it's also in the hands of my third parties. All my employees' data, my credit card data, it's all outside my control. And then I also have companies like Fazio, if anybody knows who they are, who have access into my network. So he's really starting to worry about this. So he starts doing some more research, and he's learning people are not spending the time to really worry about cybersecurity for their own. They say, yeah, people are getting breached, but it's not going to happen to me. The biggest thing, I also have 5 minutes, I'll speed it up. The biggest thing here is that companies they're trusting their vendors. A lot of times their vendors are people they've gone to dinner with, they've had drinks with, they trust them. However, just because you trust them doesn't mean that things can't happen out of their control and you can't get breached through them. So one of the big consistent findings that we're seeing with a lot of breaches is not only are companies getting breached through their third parties, but they're also getting credentials into systems that only their friends can get to, only their vendors can get to, through social engineering and a lot of other ways. So hackers can go after anybody. Goodwill was breached. Goodwill. Who's going after Goodwill? Stealing credit card numbers from people who are buying things here. Ice, this is the most expensive ice cream ever. Dairy Queen was breached. All the credit card numbers were taken. Malware through malware that was installed through some spear phishing. Everybody get emails and you're not sure if you should open it? Don't, because that's how a lot of these companies are actually breached. Home Depot, same thing. Target, through their third party. So Chris is like, what do I do? What do I do? So I know, I'll send out questionnaires to everybody. They'll tell me how things are, they'll tell me how their security is. Okay, if anybody ever filled out these things, how many people fill it out accurate? Exactly. You're lying. So I know he'll do penetration tests on the companies. But wait, that costs $10,000 and he's got 1,000 vendors. How is that going to be cost effective? And then the next day it goes ahead and changes. So it's not any good. So that's where we come in. Okay, vendor time. We are the missing link in the entire ecosystem. We don't replace companies like ThreatStream, Tripwire. We don't replace these guys. We're an add-on to this. What we're doing is we're unintrusively telling you what the security posture is of your vendors and partners. That's the most important thing. These questionnaires get sent out. You don't know if they're accurate. They may say they patch their systems, but maybe they don't. We can tell you if they actually do. And we do this completely from the outside. We don't need permission. We have guys who know how to get just to that line to find this information out. So I'll skip this one. Okay, so what does our product look like? Since I probably have 10 seconds left. 1 minute. Okay, so this is like a vendor list. So Chris, our CISO, would enter in all the companies that he follows, all the ones that he works with, and it will tell them what their score is, what their percentile, how they're doing versus other companies. All they have to do is enter a domain in, and then we tell you all about it. We'll tell you how many issues. We'll show you how you're doing versus your industry. We have detailed reports. We'll show you here. These are all the kinds of information that we show companies. Application security, DNS health, malware, open ports and network security. We tell you what's running on the ports. Endpoint security, what you're actually running. And we do all of this from the outside, believe it or not. We scrape hacker sites, stuff that's dumped on the internet. all this kind of information that we have on we have it on everybody. And you can also compare companies. If you're looking between two different vendors, we can compare them and show you which one is better. And boom, out. 5 minutes, sorry. Thank you very much. Sorry, I spoke too fast. I should have cut down slides.
All right, here we go.
All right, for a little different change of pace. The world is constantly connected. Sometimes we lose that connection with the world around us. How do we get people to embrace the world around them and learn from it? Welcome to MustSee Guides, where you can learn more about the world around you. Hi, I'm John Soppy. Last name is pronounced like sloppy, but with an L. And I'm here and eager to tell you about MustSee and looking forward to hearing your questions. MustSee is an open e-commerce platform for creating and distributing digital travel guides that you can customize. We have over 100 cultural institutions based out of the Northeast United States that have signed up for MustSee in the last year. And we're looking to grow and expand our audience. So the big problem with traveling is that people struggle with trying to find the right experiences that they can have on their trips. And we get that through getting MustSee lists from, social media, from travel guidebooks, from emails. And it takes a lot of time to actually manage all that, put it together. I've done it a lot myself, and it can take actually more time than the actual trip itself. The other thing is trying to find really authentic cultural spots. And a lot of people get dragged into the tourist spots. We want to help those type of people. The cultural travel guide market, or the travel guide market, is globally at $480 billion. 52% of travelers are independent travelers, and that's up 10% from 10 years ago. And independent travelers are not solo travelers, but they're people that want to have authentic cultural experiences guided by local experts. So we want to help those people. On the other hand, and in terms of independent travelers, the younger generation of travelers are becoming more and more independent, and they want to be able to have like a customized experience that they can share with their friends, both online and in real life. And analysts call this being alone together. So on the other hand, we also want to help the organizations and that actually don't have the technology to support and develop travel guides. As a case in point, there's 110,000 cultural institutions in the United States. Most of them have barely any technology support. We want to help those people create digital travel guides on our platform. And it's very difficult to get noticed in the travel guide space in the app stores because there's over 500,000 travel guide apps in the Android and Apple App Store. So what do we have to offer? Well, it's basically two different areas of support that we provide. One is a guide creation toolkit, and what that is basically a process, a very simple process that people can use to upload content and create a location-based guide about their travels. And they can do that in 3 different ways. One is through the website, one is through the app, and then we have a browser extension, which will help you pull in places from websites and create your own guides. And guides are based on highlights. And a highlight can be like your favorite meal at a restaurant, or the most compelling piece of artwork at a museum, or maybe your most favorite tchotchke at the local marketplace. We want to help people create those travel guides. And on the app side of things, you can think of this as a museum audio guide. You can actually put in your headphones, turn on the audio, and walk around, not just in one location, but in multiple locations. We want to build a network of content creators and cultural enthusiasts, and that means travel guide people, tour guides, also independent travelers, as well as cultural institutions. So we're looking to expand out of the Northeast into a broader market. So we're looking for investors, advisors, developers, and designers. So if you're interested, please get in touch with me after this session. Thank you.